Have you ever launched a new feature, published a marketing campaign, or even built an entire product, only to discover later that it wasn't what your users actually wanted? It's a surprisingly common problem. Many businesses rely on assumptions, limited survey responses, or internal opinions when making important decisions. By the time they realize they're solving the wrong problem, they've already invested weeks of work and a significant budget. The real issue isn't a lack of data, it's a lack of meaningful user insight. Today, I'm going to show you an AI-powered workflow that aims to make user research much faster and easier. Instead of spending weeks organizing interviews, analyzing conversations, and preparing reports, this platform helps businesses complete the research process in just a few days while generating insights that can support real product and marketing decisions. This tool is called Trooly AI, and in this video, I'll walk you through how it works, show you a complete workflow, and share where I think it fits best.
If you love discovering tools that make you think, wow, that was easy, you're in the right place. We test platforms, reveal hidden features, and teach you quick ways to boost your creativity, productivity, and your content game.
Before we jump into the demo, let's quickly understand what Trooly actually is. Trooly describes itself as an AI user research operating system. Instead of simply collecting survey responses or recording interviews, it helps manage the user research workflow, from gathering qualitative feedback to organizing insights that teams can use when making business decisions. According to Trooly, research projects that traditionally take 2 to 4 weeks can often be completed in 2 to 4 days, while also reducing research costs compared with traditional agency-led research. Of course, timelines and results will depend on the project, but that's the workflow the platform is designed to support. What interested me most is that the focus isn't just on collecting feedback, it's on turning that feedback into actionable insights that product, marketing, and growth teams can actually use. Let's be honest, traditional user research is incredibly valuable, but it can also be time-consuming. Imagine you're preparing to launch a new SaaS product. The first step is finding the right participants. Then you schedule interviews around everyone's availability. After that, you conduct each interview individually. Next comes transcription. Then you read through every conversation, highlight important quotes, organize recurring themes, and finally, build a report for your team. Depending on the size of the project, this process can easily take several weeks. Because of the time and cost involved, many smaller teams skip research entirely. They rely on intuition, assumptions, or whatever feedback happens to appear in support tickets or social media comments. The challenge with that approach is simple. You may end up optimizing the wrong feature, solving the wrong problem, or marketing benefits that your customers don't actually care about. Good decisions come from understanding your users, not guessing what they want. That's exactly the gap platforms like Trooly are trying to address. Instead of replacing the importance of user research, the goal is to make it more accessible, more scalable, and much faster for teams that need answers quickly. So now that we understand the problem, let's jump into the platform itself and see how the workflow actually looks from start to finish. Now that we've talked about the problem, let's take a look at how the platform actually works. One thing I appreciate is that Trooly doesn't feel like a collection of disconnected AI features. Instead, it's designed as a complete workflow that guides you from a research question all the way to insights you can actually use. Let's walk through a typical project. Everything starts by creating a new research project. This is where you define what you're trying to learn. Instead of collecting feedback just for the sake of it, it's helpful to begin with a clear objective. For this example, let's imagine we're launching a new AI productivity platform. A question we might ask is, why are users signing up for the free plan but not upgrading to the paid version? That's a real business question that could influence pricing, onboarding, feature development, and marketing. By defining the objective first, the rest of the research stays focused on answering that specific question. The next step is deciding who you want to hear from. Depending on your project, that could include existing customers, trial users, former customers, potential buyers, users from a specific industry or role. This step is important because the quality of your insights depends on speaking with the right audience. Different groups often have completely different motivations, challenges, and expectations. Once the project is configured, it's time to prepare the interview. Rather than simply sending out a survey with multiple choice questions, the platform is built around AI-led, in-depth conversations. The goal isn't just to collect quick answers, it's to understand the reasoning behind those answers. For example, instead of asking, "Did you like the onboarding process?" a deeper conversation might explore what confused the user, where did they hesitate, what nearly caused them to leave, what finally convinced them to continue. Those kinds of conversations often reveal insights that traditional analytics dashboards simply can't show. Once everything is ready, Trooly handles the interview process. According to the platform, the AI conducts in-depth interviews with participants and gathers qualitative feedback that can later be analysed. Instead of manually scheduling every interview and reviewing each conversation one by one, the workflow is designed to automate much of that process while still focusing on meaningful responses. This can be particularly useful for teams that need to collect feedback from multiple participants within a short period of time. This is where things become really interesting. After interviews are completed, you're not left with pages of transcripts to read manually. Instead, the platform organizes the information into structured insights. Rather than spending hours highlighting quotes and grouping similar responses yourself, you receive summaries and patterns that make it easier to understand what participants are consistently saying. For example, you might discover that several users mention, "Pricing feels confusing." They couldn't immediately understand the product's value. A particular feature was difficult to find. They expected different functionality before signing up. Instead of isolated comments, these become recognizable themes that your team can review. This is the part that stands out to me. Collecting feedback is only one part of user research. The real value comes from knowing what to do next. The platform is designed to transform interview findings into insights that can support product, marketing, and growth decisions. That means you're not only seeing what users said, you can also identify recurring pain points, understand customer motivations, and prioritize improvements based on actual conversations. For product teams, that could influence future features. For marketing teams, it could help refine messaging. For founders, it could provide additional confidence before investing time and resources into a new idea. Ultimately, the goal isn't simply to generate more data, it's to make that data easier to interpret and more useful when making decisions. So that's the overall workflow, but software always makes more sense when it's solving a real problem. Let's walk through a practical example and see how insights like these could influence an actual business decision. Now let's imagine a realistic scenario. Suppose you're building a SaaS platform that helps freelancers manage their projects. Your analytics show that plenty of people create an account, but only a small percentage upgrade to the paid plan. Looking at the numbers alone tells you what is happening, but it doesn't explain why. This is where qualitative research becomes incredibly valuable. Instead of guessing, you launch a research project in Trooly. Your objective is simple. Understand why free users aren't becoming paying customers. You define your target audience as users who signed up within the last month but never upgraded. Once the AI-led interviews are complete, the platform organizes the responses into clear themes. For example, you might discover that many users aren't rejecting your product at all. They're simply unsure which paid features they actually need. Others may say they expected a different onboarding experience. Some users may feel the pricing page doesn't clearly explain the differences between plans. And a few might mention that they couldn't immediately see the value of upgrading because they hadn't yet explored the product's key features. These aren't just isolated comments, they're patterns that can help your team prioritize what to improve. Instead of debating ideas internally, you're making decisions based on feedback from real users. That could mean redesigning the onboarding process, simplifying your pricing page, improving feature education, or adjusting your messaging to better match what customers actually care about. This is where user research becomes much more than collecting opinions. It becomes a practical tool for making better business decisions. Although this example focused on a SaaS product, the same workflow applies to many different teams. If you're a product manager, user insights can help validate new features before investing development time. If you're working in marketing, understanding how customers describe their problems can improve your messaging and campaigns. Growth teams can use interview findings to better understand customer behavior and identify opportunities to improve acquisition and retention. Startup founders can validate ideas earlier, reducing the risk of building something that doesn't meet real customer needs. Even agencies working with multiple clients can use structured research to better understand different audiences before launching new projects. The common goal across all of these roles is the same: understand your users before making important decisions. After exploring the platform, a few things stand out. First, I like that the workflow is centered around answering business questions rather than simply generating more data. Second, organizing interview responses into clear themes can make qualitative research much easier to review, especially when multiple conversations are involved. And finally, according to Trooly, the platform is designed to complete projects in as little as 2 to 4 days, compared with research processes that can traditionally take 2 to 4 weeks. Trooly also states that businesses can reduce research costs by more than 50% compared with hiring traditional research agencies. Of course, every project is different, but those are the efficiency goals the platform is built around. Most importantly, the emphasis isn't only on speed. It's about one thing that's becoming increasingly clear is that businesses no longer need to rely solely on assumptions when making product or marketing decisions. Analytics tell you what users are doing. User research helps explain why they're doing it. Platforms like Trooly aim to make that process more accessible by combining AI-led interviews with organized insights in a workflow that's designed to save time while keeping the focus on understanding real customer needs. If your work involves product development, customer research, marketing strategy, or business growth, having faster access to meaningful user insights can make it easier to prioritize the changes that matter most. If you'd like to learn more about Trooly or see how it could fit into your own research workflow, I've included the official link in the video description and the pinned comment. You can visit the website to explore the platform and sign up for a free trial. If you end up trying it, I'd love to hear how you use AI-powered user research in your own projects. And if you found this walkthrough helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more AI tools and workflow tutorials, and let me know in the comments which AI platform you'd like me to review next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.